That's how things work.
Yep.
It's called like the synchronicity flow. And it's true. It's like we're in a day and age where even the average person has heard what Billy Carson was just talking about right now. And like once you hear enough, if you haven't been doing it to experience it, you can write it off all you want, but it's true. Because we're saying affirmations every moment of every day. But when you consciously do it, you would only choose the affirmations that's going to move you in the direction in which you want to experience.
Well, explain that, because like, what's an unconscious affirmation? Ugh, I look so fat today. Ugh,
yeah.
I today's gonna be horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. These constant ideas that float to the top of our head, and then we latch onto them and we say that's us.
And that's why so like getting into a meditative practice, you don't have to, but it helps. Is when if you wake up in the morning, and we know this, you were sleeping for 8 hours or what have you, and you get out of bed, the race for the negative principles, if that's what or the negative thoughts, aren't really built up yet. You're at a neutral state. So if you can make your way, say, to the couch or a chair and start to meditate, just by meditation, just detach it from any thought, via good or bad. Just detach from it. All of a sudden, your frequency of vibration raises higher. And when it raises higher, saying I'm great is easy. It's like when I get to the top of the mountain, telling people the landscape is easier. Otherwise, I'm just making shit up. I'm lying to myself. I hope it's like this. I hope it's like that. Well, I get higher up, I'm like, oh, this is how it is. I can see it. I can see the traffic there, you know? So you don't want to hope your way through life. You want to know your way through life. And when I get into in the morning, when I meditate, I wake up in the morning, I'm pretty neutral. You know, this morning I woke up, like, God damn, my back. I'm like, Karen pushed me out of bed. I had to roll out of bed. So it's everything. I'm like, yeah, everything's fine. Because I didn't want to let him know.
Feel great.
So I went on the couch and I started meditating, and it was alleviating. And I'm laughing because I'm the one holding on to that. Like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. A week from now, why did I do that? And as I hold on to it, what does the universe do? Gives me more. Well, it wants. The universe says, listen, I'm going to support your belief structure. I'm going to really support the shit out of this. You think you shouldn't have done that? I'm going to show you shouldn't have done it. I'm going to really show you should have done it. I'm like, oh, damn.
That is how
and
it
then
works.
I picked up on it. I started doing this meditation. But if I woke up and just felt the pain, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm like, I'm telling myself, the pain could have dissipated before I even made the couch to meditate. We live in a quantum universe. But we also have momentum. So if I have a momentum of negative beliefs, and if you're going 100 miles an hour the wrong direction, in understanding the physics of this world, I do not suggest you make a U-turn. Take your foot off the gas. The car naturally slows down. Then when it's applicable, you apply the brakes. And then when it's reasonable, you actually then make the car turn. But if you try to turn...
give an example of that. So like if you're suicidal, you're depressed, you are not going to immediately turn into life is amazing, life is great, correct?
Suicide actually is making you turn 100 miles an hour. You're ending it. But if you like are drinking or doing that stuff like that, so if you're upset, like I know how to... somebody watching the other day, and it was kind of the example. Like they were talking about their husband was in prison, and one of the clips they heard was about anxiety, and they're like, "Well, how do I turn anxiety into excitement?" And they weren't being sarcastic. You could tell they were hurt. And I'm like, and I started out, you don't. It's not you that does it, but when you sit with anxiety and you accept it, the anxiety starts to alleviate. When you don't try to change the direction of the car right away and you take your foot off the gas, the car naturally slows down. Now, when you get to that point when the anxiety is high, and why is anxiety high? Is because this poor woman's trying to figure out how to run a family. I don't know the dynamics of it, why her husband's in jail. Well, that's where anxiety, I'm like, we don't figure that stuff out. It's figured out for us. But if you try to figure it out, the universe is going to show you can't do that. If you let go of it, and then slip. So be one with the anxiety. Be one with the fact that you're heading in the wrong direction. Accept it. Once you accept it, take the foot off the gas. Now you're more clear-headed. You put the brakes on. Now you see the exit. Now you make the U-turn. Now you head in the right direction. Once you start heading the direction you want to go, you're already there. There is just direction. It's not a destination. It's all it is. And so that's what an affirmation is. But when you catch yourself in an affirmation, just laugh like, oh, shit. Take your foot off the gas. The frustration, okay. But you can't stay frustrated for long. You go from frustrated to just slightly agitated. You're moving in the right direction. That's all you need to know. And that's it.
So I love in this clip, he talks about, MIT, a school we can all respect. We know it's a great school, et cetera. He's talking about these concepts being discussed. He said, these ideas of these affirmations being performed, 3 times daily for 21 days are scientifically backed, peer-reviewed, meaning scientists have, published this, reviewed it, all that type of stuff. It absolutely plays a role in what you're experiencing. So if we know that MIT, we know that, science has proven this, and we all respect science. Science is just simply a language for us all to, better understand these ideas. But to not apply them would just be ignorant. Like, why would I not, knowing, okay, if I want to see positive changes in my lifestyle, if I want to achieve what my goals are, start with these affirmations of success, of having, of being worthy, in order to move that ball along, to get you there quicker. For some reason, there's something inside each of us, where it's like, oh, we don't believe it's like that. It's different for me, or whatever, but it's not. And when you start to apply these affirmations, things really do change. And I selected this clip because me personally, it was probably 2 years of me understanding these concepts, and I never used affirmations.
Well, you did. They were just not the affirmations you would have chose.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, we always use affirmations.
I would have chose.
You wouldn't have an experience without an affirmation.
That's a great point. And so, like, when I understood that, I'm like, oh, it very much clicked, and I started to apply and use these affirmations that were serving me, serving my goals, serving, my experience. And how quickly they begin to work is mind-blowing. And it just is more of a testament that what we call reality and what we're living is not so real. We're actually experiencing our affirmations, our thoughts, our mind in real life, and calling it real.
Yeah. And what I suggest people, because I remember someone telling me this years ago, and this became profound for me. It may or may not for anyone listening. When I look back in the life, they're like, okay, look at the life you're in that you don't like. You created that. So if you created that, what else can you create? But we don't think we created it through our affirmations. Once I became aware, I'm like, oh my God, if I'm creating this through my affirmations, and then there's all the inputs of it and how I'm seeing it, if I just use it in the direction in which I want to go, like the car will still, if I'm doing, 100 miles an hour going away from the direction in which you want to go, the mechanics of the car are the same. The RPMs don't rev higher because I'm going in the wrong direction. I do in my head, but the car will still move 100 miles an hour effortlessly in the direction in which you want to go as well. But now, me knowing I'm going in the direction in which I want to go pleases me, and it becomes effortless. You ever notice you're driving a car and you're late for something? It feels like you're pushing the car, but you're not. It's the inner turmoil. But that inner turmoil is working, because when you go in the wrong direction, now there's an accident, now there's traffic. Oh, shit, the red light.
The
universe like, hey, I can play this game really good. If you direct me to make life bad, I will make life bad in the definition of what you think the life is bad. Because people are like, oh, I want green lights all here. I'm like, I'm like, a red light means I could text my buddy. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do it when it's green. So I don't look at red lights and green lights as good or bad anymore. I don't look at the front parking spot in the store I want to go as good or bad anymore. It just is. Because all of a sudden people stop playing the game and they want to leave out the what we understand is the law of polarity. I'm like, so if if you get to the mall and you don't get the front spot, you're like, I'm doing something wrong. I'm like, no, maybe you need to crush a couple of calories today. And, there's a whole dynamic system going on. And, it's funny, but you can set it up that way. And my point is this, when that happens, you redirect, and maybe it is, I got the spot in the back, but I want to get more of my Fitbit miles in or whatever the hell you use.
No, I'm so glad you brought this up. So this last week, my brother came to me, very similar type of scenario. He went out to his vehicle and he pulled this handle on his car and the whole handle came off the door. And he's like, what the hell? And he came in and I was like, hey, just go to the side, click it twice, it should unlock going through the side of the back of one of your back doors. So he did that. It worked, And then he calls me like an hour later. He's like, you won't believe this. When I just was driving, my front left tire just blew out on me. And and he's like, I called AAA. They came here and they told me the right tire's about to go. I got to go get all new tires. And he goes, Mike, I just feel like the universe, and a door handle. I got to go do both of these. And this was the same day in a matter of an hour or two. And he's like, I just feel like the universe is punishing me. And I go, whoa, whoa, whoa. The universe is never here to punish you. Ever.
No.
The universe, that is a very, that's like the way the ego would interpret something. Yeah, this is happening to me.
It's like saying gravity made me jump off the building.
Yeah,
gravity
exactly.
has nothing to do with gravity just works.
So what's happening is never to punish you, ever. So don't interpret it that way. It's more an experience of where you're at. What are you casting out? What are you projecting? It's showing you, maybe it's telling you to slow down, but it's not there to punish you.
No, and that's interesting because there is something designed in this mechanism, and we know this, that what we call negative attributes, like your brother having
car issues.
If just a door handle went off, came off, and that was it, he would have had this long, steady aspect of feeling dormant. Mm-hmm. But because he came to a breaking point, he's like, what's going on? That's the moment when life changes. When you says people things happen in threes. I'm like, if you are conscious, things can happen in ones.
Seriously,
it happens. Some people it happens 5 times. Oh, there, it's pretty dense. It's like something's. I might have to change the way I do things because
you think?
Yeah. But when you recognize it and get bad news, all of a sudden you fall to your knees, and when you fall to knees, you let go. It's like letting go of the boulder. Now, when you just finally let go, it's like, wow. And all of a sudden, it's like, wow, it is the way I've been permeating. I felt a little agitation this morning, and then I grabbed the thing. I felt more agitation. Driving blows out. I felt more agitation. Yeah. Then the guy comes like, yeah, I got bad news.
You're gonna need all
no tires. Shit.
He was like, don't drive above 50. You can go 10 miles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But what's going on? And when you say the universe is punishing me, it was his way of saying what is going on. And I'm like, listen, don't go back and beat yourself up, but it started creeping in. But it woke you up to ask you what is going on.
So funny you said that.